In this tutorial, we will learn the basics of programming a drum beat in the music software Ableton Live. Drum beats form the backbone of most modern pop and electronic music and are often composed using music software like Ableton Live instead of an acoustic drum kit played by a real person. Composing drums in music software is affordable, flexible, and above all, heaps of fun. Today we'll be creating a four-to-the-floor drum beat inspired by early Chicago house music. Chicago house was one of the first styles of electronic dance music in the mid to late 80s and featured the use of Roland 606, 707 and 808 hardware drum machines. As these drum machines are hard to come by today, software developers and sound designers have made it possible for the modern producer to recreate these sounds in music software like Ableton Live. Let's have a listen to a pivotal example, Mr. Fingers' Can You Feel It? This drum pattern is typical of Chicago house patterns and features a four-to-the-floor kick drum, that is, a kick drum on each beat of the bar. The clap and the snare drum fall on beat 2 and beat 4, but the real interest in this pattern comes from the shuffling ride cymbal. Now that we have a feel for electronic drums, let's open Ableton Live and create a version of this four-to-the-floor drum pattern. I'm going to start by going to the File menu and open Live Set. I can then navigate to the place where I have my Chicago house drums session saved. I want to open up the .als, that's our Ableton Live set. So we can see we've already have some information in our set. We've got two mid basses, mid bass 1 and mid bass 2, and a keys part. Have a listen to what this sounds like already. Hit the play button. So it sounds pretty cool so far, but there's something that's really missing, the drums. Step 1, load your instrument. To create the drum beat, we are going to need to load a drum kit into our session. You can find the drum kits in the browser under categories. So here's the categories, and here we go, drums. I'm going to click once on the kit call 707 so we can have a listen to what this drum sounds like. So to load the instrument into our set, I'm going to click on the drum kit name over here in my browser and drag it into the spot in the arrangement view where it says drop files and devices here. The instrument is now loaded into the session and is ready to create a pattern. Step 2, create MIDI clip. To create a pattern for the drum kit to play, we need to click and drag to make a selection of time on our drum instrument track. We will create a 4-bar pattern, so I'll click and drag on my drum instrument track from bar 1 all the way up to bar 5. Now that this time has been selected, we need to navigate to the Create menu and click on Insert MIDI clip. This will create a MIDI clip. A MIDI clip is like sheet music for an orchestra. In order for the orchestra to be able to play a symphony, players must read notes on a page of sheet music. The same is true for a software drum kit. In order for the drum kit to know what to play, a MIDI clip containing all the note or pattern information must be created. Step 3, create a pattern. Now that the MIDI clip is created, the next step is to program the notes the drum kit will play. In order to do that, I need to double click here on my coloured bar of my MIDI clip. This will change my display down the bottom to the MIDI note editor. At the moment it's displayed like a grid, and we can see across the top here the timeline we have bar 1, bar 2, bar 3 and bar 4. I'm going to start by programming the kick drum. The kick drum plays a four-to-the-floor beat, so kick, 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 kick on each pulse. To add this pattern, I'm going to find the kick drum down here on the left hand side. I can scroll up and down here. So here's my kick drum. Here's bar 1, beat 1. So I'm going to double click here to add a note into my pattern. I'm going to do the same at bar 1, beat 2. Double click to add another kick drum. Bar 1, beat 3. Double click to add another kick drum. And finally bar 1, beat 4. Double click to add another kick drum. Let's have a listen to what this sounds like. Hit the space bar or the play button to listen. Great. This kick drum pattern repeats for the following 3 bars, so I'm going to use my standard copy and paste functions to repeat these notes. So to make a selection, I'm going to click and drag and make sure all those kick drum notes are highlighted. I'm going to use my keyboard shortcut, Command and C or Control and C if you're on a PC, to copy the notes. I'm going to click in the grid where I want my kick drum to start again, bar 2, beat 1, and I'm going to use my paste function, Command and V. or Control and V on a PC. So we can see here that that's repeated those 4 notes for bar 2. I'm going to do the same thing for bar 3. The notes are already copied to my clipboard, so I'm just going to paste again, Command and V, and I'm going to repeat that process again for bar 4, Command and V. We can now see that the kick drums fill out the entire 4 bars. Let's have a listen to what that sounds like. Great, it's starting to come along. Next, I'm going to add the snare drum on the 2nd and the 4th beat of each bar. So same thing again. To add a note, I'm going to find bar 1, beat 2, which is here, find my snare drum here, and I'm going to double click to add a snare onto bar 1, beat 2. Repeat the same process for bar 1, beat 4. Again, let's have a listen to that. Great, our beat's really starting to take shape. So again, this same pattern will repeat for bar 2, bar 3, and bar 4. So let's click and drag to select those notes, copy, and paste. Looks like my notes aren't quite in the right spot, so I'm going to pick them up with my pointer tool and drag them to bar 2, beat 2, and bar 2, beat 4 where they should be. And then repeat that process until all 4 bars are filled out. The last thing that we want to put into our pattern is that shuffly ride cymbal that sits on top of everything. I'm going to scroll up here to find my ride cymbal. There it is. To create that shuffling feeling, I'm going to use a combination of on and off beats. So on the beat here, off the beat here. On the beat and off the beat. Let's listen to what that sounds like. Great. I'm going to repeat that pattern, so copy and paste for the remaining 3 bars. So now our pattern should sound something like this. It's a good idea to repeat this process of creating a drum track, inserting a MIDI clip, and programming a pattern a few times over so that you can remember all the steps involved. And finally, always remember to save your work. So up to the File menu and Save Live Set. This will ensure that all the hard work that you've done in this session will be remembered for next time.